Defi Kingdoms, summoning. Are you interested in summoning? Are you interested in buying Gen Zeros? What can you use to help you determine whether or not you should buy the Gen Zero? Other than being patient, check this out. I've been patient for months and months. I've been wanting a mythic Gen Zero paired. So if you're buying a Gen Zero, first of all, your first thought is, what hero do you want? And how do you want to pair him? Because when you look at the classes, first of all, Generation Zero heroes can only be basic heroes. Warrior, Knight, Thief, Archer, Pirate, Monk, Wizard, Priest, Seer, Berserker. There's no such thing as a Generation Zero Paladin, Dark Knight, Ninja, Summoner, Shapeshifter, Sage, Dragoon, or Dread Knight. Only basic heroes can be Gen Zeros. That means the lowest, earliest generation hero that an advanced class can possibly be is a Gen 1. And the maximum number of summons that a Gen 1 advanced class can have is 5. Maximum number of summons advanced class can possibly have is 5. And you would think it's 9, but it's actually 5. So you want to potentially think long term, if you want to buy a Gen Zero, you also want to figure out what that Gen Zero partner is. I just bought a Thief. So I just completed the tree of these original heroes. I completed the tree. I now have 8 Gen Zeros. Didn't expect it. Didn't see it coming. But today a mythic Thief came for sale in Crystalville for 15,000 crystal. Mythic Thief Fisher level 11. I had to buy it. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. This week I also finally bought my first legendary Gen Zero. Okay, so I wanted to pair my mythic Gen Zero with a legendary or another mythic Gen Zero. Well, there is an archer. I went ahead and got him too, even though he's a gardener. But he's cheap and is recessive class. So what tools? This tool is awesome. dfk-adventures.hero.com. Amazing hero, amazing tool. Shout out to this whoever created this. There's also on Discord a buddy shouted out who's created his own summoning tool that I'm going to be doing a video on Thursday with. He's going to show me, and I think it can do more, or maybe it can even like notify you of heroes being listed in the tavern. I'm not sure. And I think this tool might be able to do that as well. But this tool is absolutely fantastic. If you come to this site, you can put in your hero ID number and another hero that you're considering summoning that hero with ID number, and it will tell you everything about both heroes side by side, including, when you scroll down, the summoning chances. Okay, and notice how I have these 2 Dark Knights. We'll get to that. I did that, and I decided to go ahead and get this Archer Gardener, but he's legendary. He's a gardener, but his recessive 1 gene is mining. And so, first of all, first thing you want to think is, it's such a bummer. The Thief and an Archer can potentially summon a Dark Knight. We're going to get into those summoning chances. At floor percent chance, these guys have, the Thief and Archer has at least a 14% chance to summon a Dark Knight. And that's generally kind of the average percentage, is usually going to be 14. But that can increase, and I'll show you how. I used to think, because I heard people say, oh, you need the recessive 1 to, like in the case of a Thief, you want a Thief. And I used to think that means subclass. But subclass has nothing to do with summoning at all whatsoever. It only matters in summoning. Subclass sticks with subclass. Main class sticks with main class. The subclass is impacted on how the hero can potentially level up. And it's a little bit underrated. So in this scenario, let's say I have the Thief Archer and we end up summoning a Dark Knight Fisher, which I wish this Thief was over here. Like you could trade this Monk and Thief and have a Pirate Thief try and get a Ninja. That would make more sense, because the Dark Knight is the absolute worst Fisher in the game. So that's the bummer. If you want a Gen 0 thief fisher, which the only profession that the thief is really good at is a fisher. He's a okay miner, but not great miner either. He's not a very good gardener or forager. So normally these classes, like in this case, a warrior knight miner will get a paladin who's the best miner. And also on this side, a dark knight's a very good miner. Those two guys being miners could summon a dragoon who's also a great miner. Like you would think they would have kind of followed that a little more, but nope. There's not very many good fishers. And really the thief is the only good basic hero fisher. The pirate's okay. You know, he's an okay, but really there's no standout basic hero fishers. Okay. So you got to live with it. It is what it is. But the Dark Knight is a decent gardener. So you want to look at when choosing the profession of the Gen 0 hero, you want to consider what its advanced class potential summon profession is good at. Dark Knight is an underrated gardener, actually. Because of vitality. And Archer is okay, 50% vitality. And my Archer actually has the blue stats, so 52%. You can be throwing a crystal at vitality. Okay, anyways, so that's good. You can keep jacking up vitality. And his recessive 1 is mining. So it gives about a 10% chance or so for my Dark Knight to be a miner. So that's a plus. And a decent chance for the Dark Knight to be a gardener. That's a plus. Okay, we're going to go into how they even calculate that. All the details of all the summoning chances are here on this website. Something you want to know. Okay, so if you're considering buying a Gen 0, you want to think, okay, what pair eventually do you want to have? So let's say you end up buying a wizard or a pirate. I think the floor the other day, there was a really cheap pirate Gen 0. He's a gardener. He's not a great gardener, but at least he's okay with vitality too. So he's not as bad as an archer gardener, actually. But the problem is with a pirate gardener is the ninja's not a good gardener. So that's what you want to think about a little bit, okay, is eventually though, you're wanting to get a tree of Gen 0s. That's been my goal. I finally achieved it today. Okay. And that's big. So, here, how does all this shake out? Okay, I have these Dread Knights. Let's imagine, here, real quick, what I'll do. Real quick, before I change these. Okay. The maximum number of summons in the lowest generation that an advanced class can be is Gen 1. And the max number of summons is 5. I believe the max number of summons for this elite class of Sage or Dragoon, so the best generation that those guys can be is a Gen 2. And the max number of summons, I believe, is 3 for a Dragoon or Sage. That's the max number of summons. And then the max number of summons, I believe, for a Dread Knight is just 1. Maybe you can have a Dread Knight with 2, but I don't think so. I'm not totally sure on that. I double checked the tavern and all my heroes, and none of my Dread Knights has ever had 2 summons. I have 3 Dread Knights with 1 summon. In the tavern, the max number of summons that any of those guys have ever had is 1. Those summons are super valuable. Because if you summon 2 Dread Knights together, they have a floor of 75% chance to get another Dread Knight, which is awesome. And so I was debating, I'll be summoning, I've got 3 Dread Knights with 1 summon. I'll be doing that at some point. Okay, so that's important to know. So ultimately here is an easy pick. You want a Knight Warrior Gen 0 Miner. You want them both to be miners. But they're so expensive. That's what I always wanted. But I had to compromise. I got a Knight Gardener who's a decent gardener and a Warrior Forager who's a decent underrated forager. What sucks about that is his paladin is a terrible, terrible forager, but he's a great gardener. And I think there is a mining chance as well. So I went ahead and went with those guys. And the knight is a legendary. Over here, when I bought the wizard priest, at the time, the floor miners were double the price. Literally double the price. Well, now that's come down. So I'm kind of stuck with the wizard priest miners. But it's okay because my Gen Zeros have been my most profitable heroes by far, who've held their value compared to other heroes the best, are the Gen Zeros. And over time, you're going to get your money back out of these guys over time. That's what and I should actually calculate that. Okay, so ultimately we want to be able to summon a Dread Knight. And even when you summon a Sage and a Dragoon together, you've got a really good chance to get either a Sage or a Dragoon, but only a 7% chance for a Dread Knight. Super rare chance, generally speaking. Now those chances can increase, but it's very difficult, and I'm going to show you how to increase those chances. So come in here, when I was assessing whether or not I should buy this archer, other than the fact that I just wanted a mythic paired with another mythic or legendary Gen Zero. In my mind, it was just going to be someday down the road, but I went ahead because, man, how often do you see a Thief Fisher level 11 Gen Zero mythic? That's awesome. So it was like, okay, I'm going to keep my eyes out for an archer. And I knew I'd probably, because I'm being irresponsible with my money, probably, but it was like I knew I'd probably be stuck with an archer gardener. But I wanted the legendary just to increase my chances here. So in looking at this, let's look at this tool and go over the chances of paste. This guy is number 207. He's an OG hero right there. Man, what was a bummer was this guy didn't do the Gen Zero reroll. We're going to go over the chances. What are the chances and how is it calculated when you're summoning? How are the chances calculated when it comes to the baby you're going to get? As far as the main class, the subclass, the the chances of getting a mythic versus a legendary versus a rare, what profession they're going to have, we're going to go over that right now. So on this tool, you just put in the hero ID, hit view, and it tells you everything you need to know about the hero, including down here the genetics, okay, which a lot of people who summon look at this. Now, Gen Zero, they're always going to be basic, is my understanding. And then if you put in the hero number over here, it will side by side compare the two heroes and give you everything you need to know about the summoning chances of those two heroes. And sorry, I am so exhausted. It has just hit me. And so I keep reshooting this video. Bear with me. I love you guys. I just had left out some info in the other videos. It's like, so I keep reshooting it. Anyways, okay. So, and Brown Gent today helped me. I'm going to improve these videos. I'm going to be able to clip out things that I don't want in videos. That's coming. I'm going to do that tomorrow and get thumbnails, different things just to help with these videos. And I'm going to learn how to do all that. So I just hit compare. So now this will compare this Thief Gen Zero that I bought and this Archer, this Mythic Thief Gen Zero, and this Legendary Archer Gen Zero. Someday these heroes could be worth, who knows? Today the Brown Gent said $500,000. Hey, if everything goes well, I remember just dreaming about maybe someday owning one Gen Zero. But it's so much better when you own two Gen Zeros that pair together. That's what you should be aiming for. Be patient, start with one, and then you can start looking at the second one, which you want to be his pair. Okay, so how is it determined what these are going to get? So when you click these in, you scroll down, you look at the summoning chances, and this pair has your basic kind of standard chances with one little exception that's kind of cool. 30% chance, 30.5% chance for a Thief, 30.5% chance for an Archer, a 14% chance for a Dark Knight. when you look at this chart, that's kind of the floor chances is 14%. If you summon a thief archer together, 14% floor chance to get a Dark Knight, but that can increase. How does that increase? How can you get a better than 14% chance to get a Dark Knight? What would be ideal is for you to have two Gen Zeros that has an 18% chance for a Dark Knight, or a 20% chance for a Dark Knight, or a 25. It can go up above a 28. I've seen it before. 28% chance for that advanced class. And then when you summon a Dark Knight and a Paladin together, there's also a 14% chance to get a Dragoon. But here's where it gets crazy. When you summon a Dragoon and a Sage together, there's only generally speaking, gonna be a 7% chance to get a Dread Knight. But when you summon two Dread Knights together, if they have that one summon, that's what's amazing, is that they actually have a 75% chance. You have a 75% chance to get another Dread Knight. But then, generally speaking, depending on the recessive genes, you're potentially going to get a basic hero. You got a 25% chance still to get a basic hero in most cases. Okay, let's look at this. When assessing this tool, how are all those percentages determined? Well, first, you want to let's look at the primary class. Okay. You got to scroll down and kind of look for it. Okay. So right here, primary class is Thief. The subclass is a Monk. The subclass plays 0 role in how in the primary class summoning. All the subclass plays a role into is the way your hero is going to level up. It plays 0 role whatsoever when it comes to summoning your main class. I used to think that, oh, I want a thief, subclass thief, and that'll help my chances of getting another thief. The subclass does not. What does is having recessive 1, 2, and 3 as thief. And you've seen it before. If you've ever heard of a pure breed hero, that means in this case you got a thief, knight, warrior, which the knight and the warrior aren't great fishers either, which is a bummer. But none of the basic classes are, except the pirate's okay. So it is kind of what it is. When it comes to fishing, that's the bummer. Okay, so how this works, this recessive 3 does it starts with the recessive 3. It does a 50-50 stat roll with the recessive 2. So this warrior does a 50-50 stat roll with this knight. Whoever wins that goes to the next round of rolls. Then the winner of that does a 50-50 roll with recessive 1. So let's say the warrior, who has a real low percentage chance of winning all these, that's why he's recessive 3, super low chance. But let's say the warrior wins this 50-50 roll against this knight, recessive 2. Then the warrior is going to do a 50-50 roll against the knight, recessive 1. And let's say the warrior wins that. Then he does a 50-50 roll with the thief. That's how that works. Then if the thief ends up winning, which you want the thief to win that roll, then the same thing's going to happen over here, and you want the archer to win. So ideally, over here, in the recessive 1, 2, and 3, you'd have at least one other archer. But in this case, nope. So that's why I only have a 14% chance to get a Dark Knight. But let's say this archer wins that last roll, which is a 50% chance that he's going to win, and a 50% chance that this thief's going to win. Then those two, when they're paired together, that's how you have your chance of getting a Dark Knight. And then in that case, it does not quite a 50-50 roll, but kind of close to a 50-50 roll between those two. Maybe it's a 60-40 roll to get that 14.06% chance for a Dark Knight. That's how that works. Same thing happens with the subclass. The same thing happens with the profession. And notice how I know this guy didn't do the reroll because he's all fishing. And so the downside is that it's like, no, you should have done it. Whoever owned this hero was because we don't want a Dark Knight fisher. The only thing that doesn't change is the main class. But the upside of that is if I get another thief and it turns out to be a fishing thief, that's great. So upside, downside. The nice thing over here about this Archer Gardener, who's the worst gardener in the game, is that his recessive one is mining. That's great. So if we can, I have a 10% chance between these guys for my Dark Knight to potentially be a miner. That's kind of what was like, okay, the Archer's cheap for a legendary, only 15,000 jewel. Maybe I could have got a better deal, but I never ever see a legendary cheaper than that. It was about $2,700. This thief was about $5,200 for a mythic freaking thief. Level 11 fisher. That was unbelievable. So I had to just jump all over that like white on rice. Profession. So this guy's a fisher. This guy's a gardener, miner, fishing. I wish this wasn't fishing, but it is. So it increases the chances of the Dark Knight being a fisher and gardening again. So I wish foraging was in here, but it's not. But at least the Dark Knight's a pretty good gardener. That's what you want to look at. He's got a chance to be a gardener and he's got a chance to be a miner. But the best chance here is a fisher, unfortunately. But I still went with it. We'll deal with it. We'll live with it. Okay. So, when considering buying a Gen 0, that's what you want to look at. In summoning, you want to use this tool. I'll be doing a video on Thursday with this new summoning tool on Discord this guy's really excited about. He's told me about it on Discord. I'm excited to check it out. That's coming. Crypto. It kind of matters. People look down here. I know. And another thing that was interesting too is that I've got a 1% chance for a paladin. Well, how is that? How would I have a chance for these two guys to summon a paladin? Well, here's how. It was because we got knight and warrior here, and we got a warrior over here. So if the knight wins, if one of the recessive 1 or 2 on the thief actually turns out winning, and this warrior recessive 1 wins, and they summon together, they got whatever chances there, 50-50, 60-40, 60% chance if they win out to have a paladin. So that was neat, even though paladin also isn't a great fisher. But he's a great miner and he's a great gardener. So that was a plus. Those two things, and the fact that the summoning chances for some of these advanced classes were in there too. So that was kind of cool. Even active 1, I've got about a 1% chance for an advanced class in the passive, and so that was cool. And over here on the hairstyle. So we'll go with it. I went with it. I did it. I completed the tree. So now I have a warrior knight. Ultimately, I wish I could have miners, but they're so expensive. I got a thief archer, Gen 0. I got a pirate monk, foraging, and a ninja is a good forager. So that's why I went ahead and pulled that trigger. And knowing that this wizard priest were miners, and that was like not ideal. But at the time, floor miners were so much higher, and so I went with it. That's what you want to think. And then you got over here the Seer and Berserker. Maybe eventually I'll get those as well. But what I've been told is that it's going to take some time before we get the rest of this tree. So the debate is, do I save my Dark Knight summons to when they complete this tree? And we have another, not elite class, but what is this class called? I keep forgetting it. It's the Mega Bomb class. This is elite, advanced, and basic. Do I save the dark? Comment. Let me know your thoughts. Should I have 3 Dread Knights with 1 summon? If I summon 2 of them together, and I'll get another one probably with a summon. Should I summon those together, giving me a 75% chance to get another Dread Knight? Or should I hold off, level those bad boys up, use more Gaia Tears, which helps in the summoning? Should I have 2 of them getting close to level 10? Okay, what should I do there? Let me know your thoughts. But what the deal is over here is I've been told they're going to wait until they move Serendale to another chain to bring more heroes in this tree over here. And that's why we're kind of seeing the floor of Sears and Berserker. They're always at the floor, those two. The Shapeshifter's an interesting hero. He's not great at anything, but he's good at everything. But he's a pretty dang good fisher. He is a better fisher than I even realized. And you don't have a ton of good fishers in this game. That's something to consider. The best fisher is a ninja who's a beast. The thief is also a rock solid fisher, and the sage is a rock solid fisher. It's the Dread Knight's worst, but he's still a solid fisher. And same with the Dragoon, is a pretty good fisher. Not great though. 65% chance for agility, 50% chance for luck, 150 combined there. Not bad for a Dragoon. That's also his worst though. His worst profession, I think, is a fisher. Maybe it's a forager, but I think it's a fisher. Dread Knight is 60-60, 120, still solid. Dread Knight's good at everything. Dragoon's good at everything. Okay. Let me know your thoughts. If considering buying a Gen Zero, that's what you want to look at. If you have any questions on here, it's so interesting. It's brilliant and genius how the devs developed this. I absolutely love this. I'm a junkie in this game. If I'm wrong on something, give me a shout out too. Check out these bots botting away. I love it. Life is good in Defi Kingdoms. The pools, more money's going to come into those pools, which is going to boost the price of Jewel and Crystal. As more money goes there, more people are going to come back into the game as the devs keep working and grinding through the bear market. I love this. Exciting times for Defi Kingdoms. Crypto Grady out. Like, subscribe, bell button, comment. Peace out.